welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 237, Every Desk You Take. Recorded on Friday, February 10th, 2023, from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
How's your week been, brother?
Week is looking good. Yeah, getting ready for the Super Bowl this weekend. I have about 10 pounds of wings defrosting in the fridge right now, which will get marinated tomorrow. So
Wow.
looking
Is that
forward to
just
eating
just
way too
just
much.
just for you and Lauren? Just the two of you guys, the 10
Well, yeah,
pounds?
just 10 pounds, man. Just get them in. I need the protein. How about you?
Great week. Nothing planned for the Super Bowl, which is kind of strange. I probably need to think about doing something there, but looking forward to it. I'm going to go with Philly by 14. And I hate to
Yeah,
upset
love
those
that.
Kansas City fans out there. I'm not a fan of either one. I just, man, Philly looks good, but you can never
You never know.
underestimate Mahomes, you know? Anyway, well, enough of that chit chat, Tyler. Why don't we go right on into news and events? If you don't know, if you go to Zenatta.com and then click on events, this is where we keep track of all of the events coming up in the world of Zoho. A lot going on. Zoho has kind of really cranked it up. They've got a lot of in-person meetups that are going on. They've got a lot of customer experience workshops. They've got a new thing called Discover Zoho that they're rolling out as well. Just a whole series of events. Very, very cool stuff. And it's good to see this happen. We talked about this our last few weeks, but and they are cranking it up as well. And Tyler, I guess here next week we're going to be doing our Zoho CRM 2023 full product tutorial. A lot of changes since last year, so that will be a pretty good update to what
Yeah,
we've been doing.
absolutely. Kind of looking forward to that one. Cover some of the basics and then some of the new things that they've added and focused on over the last year. So
And then we will do desk in March. That kind of we start every year off, I think, with the whole Zoho one, right? Then CRM, then desk, and then we try to mix it up based upon changes. But those three products get so many updates throughout the year that it just seems like it's worth doing that. So anyway, again, that is over at Zenatta.com, and you can go over and check out our events there. And as always, you might want to check out if you hover over resources, we have a full resource library. You can have an index of all the videos and articles we've ever written and what we think of all the Zoho applications. You can check out the bundles, basically everything you want over at Zenatta.com. And with that, let's get right on into the news. All righty, Tyler. This was kind of funny. When I read this, it says introducing geolocation for Zoho Desk. I thought, well, okay, it's going to be on their mobile app, and it's probably going to be just like CRM, where you could go and check in somewhere, right? And
mhm.
if you don't know that, if you're on the CRM mobile app, you persons on sales calls or whatever, when they get to a place, they can check in, and it actually geolocates and stamps them on a map. Um, but this is taking it to a whole new level. This is kind of like, real time live tracking of all of your people who are out in the field. Interesting. This is in desk because I've got to be thinking,
Mhm.
we're waiting on their field service automation to come out. This is kind of a field service thing because what they're saying is, hey, you can send someone who's local and close by. But you're pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool update. I mean, we do get a lot of requests within the world of Zoho for people doing FSM. I will say this doesn't quite cross over into true FSM because you wouldn't really be able to make like an order through this interface, like a sales order, kind of track the parts and things like that you need. But you can actually now show live tracking where it's consistently uploading your location there into Desk. You can do routing if you need to get from point A to point B, just all through the Desk interface, which is really slick. Um, then you can even like assign based on current location, which that's something that normally would be like a V2 on this. You could actually pull up, new ticket comes in. We need someone to get there today. Open the geolocation tab. It's going to show where everybody is. Okay, Brett's closest, right? So he's going to be the one that goes over to this location. So pretty cool. I mean, I could see this, thinking about like property management even. If you've
Yeah.
got a bunch of different rental properties all over town, right? Things come in, hey, my sink is broken. Hey, this is leaking, right? Just being able to know where all your different maybe service techs or people are. is really cool. I mean, this type of thing that some of our clients, we've not done this for people before, but this is some pretty custom stuff, and just adding all of this as a pre-baked plugin is really cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. And they have a new app. It's the Radar app. Is that correct? That's
I
what's
think so,
basically
yeah.
monitoring this whole thing.
Yep, and that's for, like, the
So,
admins to use to
is
kinda
it the
track where
admin that
everybody
uses the
is.
Radar app, and they're basically
Mhm.
going in on everyone? So they've got the new app together. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if we covered this or not, though. But I guess has this been around a while? This Radar
I
app?
don't think so. It's gotta be pretty quick or pretty recently done.
Yeah. So it gives you all your traffic. So very, very, very cool. We'll have to look into that a little more. But anyway, great, great update to Zoho Desk. And with that, let's move right on to our next story. Uh, big, big updates for Zoho Creator that are happening now this month. So this is an extremely long article. We were talking about it before. They've got kind of a whole slew of updates. I think they've got 8, 9 updates on here. Um, yeah, I would definitely suggest you go to our website and click on this link. It'll be under the show notes or it'll be in the newsletter. But Tyler, is there anything here that kind of jumps out at you as this is going to be a cool update?
Yeah, a couple things on here. For the developers, blueprint deluge tasks kind of nice. The ability to basically move a blueprint via deluge. That can be a little bit sticky if a field is locked in a blueprint. You can't just update it with the normal API call. So kind of letting us call out certain transitions and actually invoke them via custom functions. That's pretty slick. They are kind of improving. They've got like an AI model that you can use where you can load in a set of files and it'll kind of auto create an app based on its best judgment for you that would manage those files. So again, like you said, Brad, I mean, obviously heavy creator users dig into this, kind of read through each of these. But yeah, just more and more updates from the creator team. They do not stop.
No, they do not. All righty. And they also, by the way, you can always go to their brand new product roadmap page, which I think is really cool that Zoho creators put out, where they're kind of
Awesome.
laying everything out when they expect it to be released. There's just a whole bunch of cool things you can kind of see. I mean, they're going to do a canvas builder, which is they've gotten CRM that's now going to be in creator, and they're shooting for Q2. But I love this new page. So you just go to a creator, or
I'd
basically
love if
it's
more Zoho teams would copy this.
yeah,
I'd love
I
to have one
know.
of these for CRM just because you have those things, right? That a client asks, can Zoho do this? And we're like, yeah, we know they're going to do that. They're like, okay, when? We're like, well, probably this year.
Yeah.
It'd be really great to be able to say Q2, Q3 of this year, right? So it's a little bit of a side shout out here for the creator team on the roadmap.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
they're
neat to
only
have.
keeping this up through Q2. They've got quite a bit to get done here in the next 4 months. So if you kind of look at this, including an entirely revamped Deluge editor. So interesting stuff from the creator team. As always, great job there. And moving right along, kind of a small one, but you've got some new enhancements to Zoho Desk and their Microsoft Teams integration. So uh, they've been doing a lot of this lately. So if you basically are a Microsoft Teams user, you're doing all of your communication inside of Teams. That's very similar to Slack or Zoho Click if you're not using that. But if you are using Teams, they've just got some deeper integration. So enhanced ticket view, and they've got 2 channels. You got a personal bot you can now drop in and a ticket bot. So um, nice stuff, I guess, on
Yeah. A lot
their
of people do
Teams.
use Teams for this. I'm not a big fan of Zoho Team or Microsoft Teams, but a lot of people are pretty deep into Teams and being able to just embed Zoho Desk natively in there and then kind of set up your notification requirements, right? And kind of build out your own implementation of Teams and Desk. It's definitely pretty slick.
Yeah, I was talking to someone, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and he goes, "So, are you on Teams or it's an outside vendor?" And he said, "I said, are you on Teams or are you on Slack?" And I said, "I'm on Click because we're Zoho." And he goes, "Ah, one I don't have." I said, "That's you can get a free Click account. You should get it and try it out, and then if you want to communicate with me, we can do that." And he did. I talked to him about a week ago, and he's like, "Man, I love this. This is great." And I go, "Yes, Click is sleek." Oh, Click is slick. There we go.
That's going to be a show title.
It is slick. All right, and then moving on. So this is kind of we've talked about this, but Zoe's had a blog about it. They've got a lot of coverage. They put out a press release. Um, Zoho Workplace released an app called Trident. I swear we talked about this thing a few weeks ago, or a
A
month
while
ago. Was
back, yeah, a while back, I think we talked about Trident.
Now I think it's like official. And so it's basically this kind of nice little application. It's a desktop app. So rather than being inside the browser version of this, they have it for Windows as well as iOS, and it is or not just iOS, but I guess
Mac
Mac.
OS, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of combines mail, click, notes, calls, audio, video calls. So that's kind of a Cliq thing, but doing a little differently. Calendar in one location. Um, Not game changing. I mean, basically, you've kind of seen this with Microsoft Outlook forever, right? Kind of thing. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of applications kind of combine this, but it's a desktop application. I've played with it. It's fine. I don't find much difference in this from the browser based application, though. They're
Mhm.
kind of
Kind of a
similar.
preference thing if you like to have all this in one place, but
Yeah.
sometimes with
Yeah.
updates like this, I have to remind myself that I just have so many habits in how I interact with Zoho. Someone might love this, even though I play with it and I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I've been doing it for 5 years and I just know exactly how I like to touch every Zoho app. So for me, I probably won't find myself using this too much, but it is a pretty compelling product. It's definitely a play where they are looking at that price comparison, right? When you look at an equivalent suite of products from Google, Microsoft, they're definitely targeting that kind of space. So definitely worth taking a look at, but it's all a preference thing at the end of the day, whether or not you're going to like this on your desktop or not.
Well, I haven't checked in with you on this in a while, but you really used to be an app guy. When we were,
Yeah.
Gmail, you were like, oh, there was an app called Kiwi. Do you still use like Kiwi for your Gmail?
I gave up on Kiwi because it couldn't do sorted. It couldn't do my plugin that I like in Google, so I had to ditch it. It's a
It's
sad
in
day.
I loved apps and I'd always prefer apps and I kind of miss it because it's like, oh, a cool new app. But now if it's just not browser based, it's just, I don't know. Things have gotten
Yeah.
so fast, so much better. But anyway, nice job from the workspace team. And by the way, I wanted to give them. I think we just got this today from Zoho Workplace. They sent it to the office here in this beautiful box. It's a calendar. So Zoho shipped us a calendar, Tyler, and just the combination where digital meets paper is. If you see here, you actually it's Zoho calendar. It says it's a calendar. You can go to Zoho.com/calendar. So you can have
Look at
this
that.
on your desk. You can be digital and paper, and
Do they provide an
you know.
integration for that calendar into Zoho Calendar?
Dude, there's this little wire you plug from the back of this calendar into it. It's
Got it.
no, I wanna thanks for the team for that nice desktop calendar they sent over, and kudos to the workplace workspace team. And moving right along, so we've got updates regarding Twitter API support for Zoho Social. Um, it's a pretty cool article, actually. Evidently, Zoho's relationship with Twitter is tight. So they're discontinuing free access to the Twitter API. And normally when you see this, there's just kind of, oh, this is horrible that Twitter did this. But I love this article because the team's going, this is to prevent scammers and opinion manipulators from exploiting the platform, as there is currently no verification process involved in using these APIs. But don't worry, says Zoho. We have a great relationship. We know it's a big thing. We're working with them, and we're going to identify a course of action. So I think that's pretty cool. So I like that. Everybody's complaining about Elon and everything he's doing over there, but it's funny that you can let half your company go, and literally there's no change in that service. I have
Mhm.
noticed nothing has changed over there, but
Yeah,
he
it's
is
always a
cleaning some
balance,
things
right?
up. What's
Yeah.
that?
It's always a balance, right? Like as users, we don't like when things start having to be paid. But then on the flip side, if you look at a Twitter P&L over the past couple of years, maybe it does make sense that they need to charge for things here and there so that
Well,
they can exist, right?
I
It's
look
that
at
it's
it.
the
There's so
classic
many
thing. And
people.
go ahead.
So many of these opinion makers, they live on Twitter, right? And it's like, if you want your green checkbox, you want to be verified, give us a credit card and pay us $96 a year, $8 a month, right? That seems like an extremely small price to pay. to
Mhm.
still have this platform where now you're legit and people can trust because you're legit if you really want to get your opinions out there. Um, I don't know if you looked at LinkedIn pricing lately. Speaking of this kind of stuff, I mean, people complain
No.
about Twitter. My gosh, it's like starting at $39 for their basic plan now, and then for a plan
Mhm.
that does anything is $59 a month. So I don't know why people complain about
Yeah,
this,
it tried
but
to sell me like $100 something plan once because I was doing lots of searches for people with specific skills. So it must have thought I was a recruiter. It was like, no more searches for you unless you cough up $100 a month. And so I stopped searching on LinkedIn for a little while.
yeah. So anyway, if you can continue publishing your Twitter profiles without any hassle because Zoho's got a excellent relationship with Twitter. So rock and roll there. All right, Tyler. Enhanced media library and bulk post on Zoho Social. Um, Basically, Zoho Social has always had, you could use, was it Giphy was the one that they've had for the
Giphy
longest
and
time?
Canva. I think they did a Canva integration as well.
Right, right. And now it looks like they've added just a few others. So you got Pexels and Pixabay and cool stuff.
Nice.
So if you're looking for images and social, just an easier way to do that. And you can now do a bulk post export. So you can now share your social calendar with stakeholders and customers by exporting your unpublished posts, scheduled posts, and drafts, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Um, there's a really good application. We don't talk about it all that much. Um, there's
Yeah, it
kind
is
of
one of
maybe
those
what.
ones. I mean, it pretty much does anything that its competitors are going to do, and it's just kind of baked in your existing licensing. I mean, this is actually, obviously exporting things, it seems, not very sexy, but being able to build out like a 3-month plan here in social, pull the data out, get the okay on it, and then import it back in to say, cool, these are all ready to go now, is a pretty
Yeah,
nice little workflow improvement for people that do need to get those approval steps completed.
yeah. Excellent stuff from the Zoho social team. And we're going to wrap up the news. This is going to be a theme that's going to be rolling through the rest of the show, kind of. But you can now configure ChatGPT in Zoho Cliq, which I think is just, it's got to happen. Team, whatever it takes, let's sign us up. Let's buy some API credits. I am so all over this. So basically, you're going to create a bot. This is giving you the code on how to do it to make it all happen, and you can now just basically ask those Chat GPT questions directly inside of Cliq. We've talked about it on the show. I love this application. I know people are saying, "Oh, it doesn't give you all the right answers." Oh, it's man, come on. It's just so good. It's
Yeah.
just so
I think
good.
this is really cool. I mean, obviously, it does highlight the kind of extensibility of Zoho Click, the fact that you can kind of just plug a third-party chat tool directly into it. But I really love when Zoho does stuff like this because they'll do it on CRM sometimes, Books, Desk, where they make one of these posts and they give you a giant block of code and they're like, "Yeah, copy paste this and you're good to go." They've done it before on different applications, and it's really cool because it might spark some of that interest for people, kind of knowing how much you can really do in a lot of these applications.
Yeah. And we said it before, but from a research perspective, I mean, this is your from a research perspective, this is the biggest time saver I've ever seen. I mean, sure, you always want to validate your research, right? But I mean,
Mhm.
it just spits out such great, concise data. Then you can just go cross check it and make sure it's right. But just the ability to get what you're looking for quickly, I think it just saves hours and hours and hours. And I know, Freddie, you've been loving ChatGPT. Freddie, our producer over there in the
Loving
chat room.
it. I tell you what. And so much so that I loaded my credit card up onto it and I found out that you don't need to pre-buy API credits. You just use them and you get billed at the end of every month. So there you go.
Cool.
Trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. So that is probably it's kind of a major update, I would say. We're kind of trying to keep track of them this year, whether this is notable. I would say this is notable. What do you think? Do you think the major update would maybe be the first story, Tyler, where we had geo
Yeah,
tracking
probably.
everywhere?
Probably.
Yeah,
'Cause it's kind of just a custom build here. It's not even like a plugin. They're just showing you how to build it yourself natively as a bot.
yeah, pretty cool. All right, and with that, let's get to our implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is an implementation here that we did for one of our kind of long-standing clients to build out an automated document merge process that pulls in various different documents from different sources and kind of puts them all together into one primary piece of content that'll end up attached to that record. So this is built by Tom and Lucas here, a bit of a development dream team. Again, kind of the goal to automate the generation of a pretty complicated PDF document by merging multiple different templates together. The tricky thing here is that not all PDFs are required for each step for every single record, as well as the fact that some of these PDFs are actually generated outside of Zoho in like a third-party application. And so we did essentially is create a kind of UI in the system, I believe in their deals record, to determine which components are necessary for a given document that we want to make. Then we can just press a custom button, which will trigger a function that can kind of read through everything that the user added to that deal, determine which components of this document are necessary, and then run the merge on each of those. As that merge is running, it's kind of adding them to a list of attachments in the background inside of the piece of code. And then we take all those attachments that were generated, which could be 3, 4, 5, 6 different PDFs, just depending on the nature of this individual deal. And we use the writer merge PDF API to go ahead and put them all into one document. So regular listeners will remember we actually used this merge API in kind of a cheating way a couple weeks back to take certain page sections out of one big document. In this case, we're actually using it for its intended goal, which is to feed it a bunch of documents and merge them all into one. So really nice implementation here from Tom and Lucas. A lot of the times for something like this, we would probably just have like one master mail merge template with some logical conditions. But because some of these PDFs are just generated external to Zoho in third-party applications, we thought this was a pretty slick way to get this job done.
Very cool. We do so much with this lately on, document generation just
Yeah.
natively, and it's been a game changer. It's one of those things. So you've got a lot of ways to go with this, with Zoho. And it used to be, I think, in order to do a lot of this stuff, you kind of had to use something like PandaDocs or some of these other third-party tools that were out there. There was, what was the one we used to use? Loved it
We
forever. It
used
was
web
kind of
merge and then it got acquired by FormStack.
FormStack, WebMerge, yeah,
Mhm.
very cool one there as well. But Zoho is really kind of caught up in a lot of ways and doing all this. And then, I think people get confused also because you also have Zoho Contracts, which does some pretty cool stuff in and of its own. Doesn't allow for graphics or things, but I think what we're able to do on a custom level, just crazy.
Yeah.
Really,
A lot of
really,
the
really
times,
good.
we'll be talking to potential clients, people thinking about moving over to Zoho, and they'll ask, does it integrate with PandaDoc? Does it integrate with FormStack? And, the answer is
Right.
yes, it does, but we can probably just replace it for you. So maybe version 1 will integrate it because you just kind of plug it in. But if you want to stop paying that subscription fee, just let us know. And, we can probably just build this for you as a custom button. You pay us once to do it, and that's it. You own it now. It's
Yeah.
in your system.
Yeah. I mean, one of the cool thing, the only thing about those other applications that they do that I guess maybe we could, I'm curious about this is oftentimes you can generate a proposal that has options that you can check because it's an
Yeah.
HTML view and you can say, oh, I want the A or B, and then here's some add-ons and and it's going to change the total at the bottom and it's going to do all that. I don't think we've been able to do that natively in
That's the one
Zoho.
thing we couldn't do. You could probably get away with some type of form intake that then spits out the doc to sign, but you can't bake it into the sign template itself the way that you can in
Right.
something like PandaDocs.
Yeah. Alrighty, and with that, I guess let's move on to our code share of the week over at Club Z. So, Tyler, this is more of an update correction, updating custom fields in Zoho Finance. Greg had done a code share a little bit ago, um, and he said that custom field API names only worked for reading data, but not writing data. And now he's figured out, oh, guess what? You can read and write, but you got to do some special stuff, and here's how. So,
Yep.
did I sum that up properly?
Exactly. It's one of those oddball things where when you have a CRM or when you have a custom field in something like CRM, it just stores it as a field. when you have a custom field in Books or Zoho Desk, they store them as a list of values, right? So like here we'll see that essentially Greg is creating a map or object for each custom field and then adding that to our custom fields list.
Alrighty, nice job, Greg. Thank you as always. And if you don't know, Club Zenatta is our little social gathering room where you can talk with other like-minded Zoho people and, have fun. Just discuss your problems, the successes you've had, how much you love Zoho, how much you love Zenatta, how cute and cuddly you think Josh is. All of these things you can do right here over at
Very cute.
club.zenatta.com. Very good. Anyway, head over to club.zenatta.com. All we ask for is your email address. You're going to get subscribed to our newsletter. And boy, an angel is about to get its wings. 688. This is taking off. So head over to club.zenatta.com, participate in our forums, and we'd love to see you there. So with that, Tyler, let's go to our read of the week. Over to HubSpot, which has a whole new look and feel to their blogs, much cleaner up
Yeah.
top. Yeah, kind of a whole new thing going on here. The power of AI in sales and 5 ways you can use it. We talked about integrating ChatGPT into Cliq. There's just a whole bunch going on. There's an AI explosion right now that is happening. Microsoft just built parts of ChatGPT into Bing, which would be great, but it's still Bing. I don't know. I
Still
was
going to be
playing with it.
Bing. Whatever you
It's
do, we
still
all know it's Bing. You can't hide the fact that it's Bing from us.
Yeah, I can't give stock tips, but Google went down on this news. Just buy Google, man. They're still Google. It's a good thing to do. Anyway, so basically, how to use AI in sales. Nice little article, just talking about some ways you can do to kind of automate things to improve your overall efficiency in dealing with your clients. And basically, there's just a ton. So I'll start with their 5 ways of saying your access to advanced data enrichment now in analysis and applications. Um, Basically, data enrichment, you can help do sales
Mhm.
that way because you'll know more about the buyer. You'll know more about the buyer experience. There's a whole bunch of things there as well. Conversation intelligence, chatbots as they get going. I
Yep.
mean, they're not really too AIE right now, most of the chatbots that are out there, but I think eventually they're going to be. You think there'll be a day you don't really need to write a chatbot anymore, Tyler? It's just, there it
It'll
is.
depend. I think there's always going to be 2 types. There's always going to be pre-baked flows where you want to guide them to a particular thing to hit a goal, and those you're going to want to design. But I mean, they do some like natural language processing that if you keep building on it, could end up being pretty useful. Um, a handful of these, right? Like we've seen a lot of applications. I think when it gets to that, like sales conversation management, where an AI is kind of in your call, right, and it's identifying sentiment and it's identifying response to certain phrasing. So lots of different ways to bake in AI to your process. My fear one day is when someone rolls out a like fully automated AI prospecting tool, and I go from getting 50 spam emails a day to 150 that are all just written by an AI shouting into
Right.
the void. So hopefully we won't go that far down this path towards prospecting. I see a lot of it on LinkedIn now. How to get ChatGPT to write your cold email openers. It's like, well, you're
Oh,
still going
nice.
to go to my spam folder, but at least an AI will have written it instead of you.
Yeah, the level of noise, it's astounding. It truly is. And it's crazy when you opt in, like, sure, I want to receive notifications from this company because I like their products or whatever. Does that really mean 5 to 6 notifications a day?
Yeah.
It seems like there's got to be a better way of doing
Yeah.
this. But this article, improve pipeline management and forecasting. Zia is Zoho's pouring a lot into Zia, which is their AI tool, and it's getting better and better and better as well. So anyway, a lot here. Nice little article. I think really worth taking a look at this and see where you go. So
Absolutely.
little AI in your sales process. All right, and with that, let's head over to Zenatta and see what's new over there. It's a tie-in, marketing team. Boost your productivity inside Zoho with ChatGPT. Last or a few weeks ago, and I've been using this, Zoho basically made a plugin with Zoho Notebook so you can grab your ChatGPT things and just save them directly into Notebook just flawlessly and seamlessly. It works great. I use it every day. And now, as we talked about today, you've got Cliq. And so that whole little Cliq integration is going to be pretty cool. So this is just kind of a rundown of those, how to get them set up, what to do, how it works, what it looks like, creating the chatbot, all those kind of things. So we are on it. Release it a couple of days ago. We have the whole step-by-step article and guide on how to get it done. So
Awesome. It'll be
good
interesting. We'll
job.
probably have to update this article over time because I would imagine more and more of these little integrations are going to start showing up. If not to ChatGPT, but to other types of AI tools. This might be an article that gets updated every couple months as new stuff continues to hit the market.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. All right, and we don't have a pick of the week, do we?
I don't think we do. Yeah, we
No.
kind of, for the listeners who haven't followed on the past couple shows, we've been doing the pick of the week when we find something actually good. We thought we would just kind of kill that if we can't find anything that we really think you guys are gonna want to
Yeah.
use. So I guess we'll skip right over that today.
Well, we could have made ChatGPT our pick of the week, right? That would have all fit in. We've never done that one, It's a
For the
little
people,
obvious,
yeah, for
though.
those who don't know.
I think people know. We're going to tell you about an app you've never heard of
Yeah,
because
groundbreaking new, really underrated app. No one knows about it yet.
head's been buried in the sand. All righty. With that, then, let's get over to our tip of the week. All right. This comes from Tom Harrison. Tom was started off as one of our developers, became a senior developer, and now has moved into consultant and is just uh, really, really doing a great job. And so he has put together. Is this Tom's first video that
I
he's
think
done?
it's
His
Tom's
first tip?
first video. I also have to call out his little kind of like animated character looks way better than mine. That quality on there is getting better and better on these little, I forget what you call them, whatever we do to these pictures. That one looks
Well,
clean. It's
I don't want to break
particularly
it to you, bro, but they got a lot more to work with Tom's handsome face than what did they do with yours?
There it is. There it is. I made a couple of cracks at you before the show, so I had it coming.
You dropped an F-bomb on me, man. That was horrible. Told me to F off. I don't even know what's going on around here anymore. Lack of respect in this company. Anyway, so what's Tom got going here? How to create multiple associated records with one Zoho form.
Yep.
So
So
this
this is
is
kind of tying in through their default integration or using Zoho Flow, kind of just covering through a good way to do this. Kind of the way that I think we're looking at is to have the initial integration pass over to, let's say, your contact, your lead record, like that primary record, and then using Zoho Flow to trigger on that same exact form submission to create something else. So, right, maybe you want to create a account, contact, and deal. This would be how you would do that, right? Use that default integration to create your account and contact, and then use a quick little Zoho flow to map all those fields over to, let's say like a deal record. So well
to
worth taking a
create it.
read through. Yeah, we use Zoho Forms all the time. Really, really great application and tons of ways to just wrap that data to wherever you need it inside of Zoho.
That's pretty cool. I don't know why I never thought about that because it's one of those things where it's a great use for that because you can write now in form. You can just write to one module, right?
Right
You
to
can choose what
one
you're
and
writing.
then a related. You can choose one related record.
Okay. So this is just kind of a workaround, get you where you need to go, get the rest
Yep.
of it
If you
done.
need more than one or two records created at the same time. So, yep. Shout
Well,
out to Tom. Thanks for recording that.
yeah, it was really, really great. I'll tell you what, last week when we talked, I said, well, we should hit 9,000 subscribers by the time we do the next show. And literally, it was counting down. I mean, this morning we were picking up, or just, we crossed 9,001 subscribers, I think, a couple hours ago. So, Tyler, another angel has gotten his wings. We want to thank everybody for their support. Very nice, Freddie. Very nice. So thanks for supporting our YouTube channel. The growth has been great. It's really prompted us to I think we've really stepped up our game in the last few months. I mean, if you just see all the, everybody on the team contributing, you guys are putting video suggestions over at Club Z. We're trying to respond to those and get the content you want out there. Uh, so if you haven't, head over to youtube.com/Zenatta and subscribe. Ring the bell. That way you'll get notifications as we release the new videos throughout the weeks. And thank you for all of your support. It has we're having a lot of fun doing it, and we're going to keep doing it because of that. So with that, Tyler, let's get to some Q&A. Alrighty then. So we have a question. After watching Zoho Sign settings tutorial, how do I delete document using Zoho Sign API? I think you
So I mean, the
have
trick
to.
is you've got it'll be under the Zoho Sign API documentation. Under document management is where these will be parked. You will need to have your request ID, which is like the record ID for that signed document. And then you'll need to make an API call to delete it there. You might need to recall it first. So it might be two API calls. You might have to recall and then delete. You might not need to do that. So I would test just doing a direct like delete call on a test record to make sure that you actually have to do a recall first. But otherwise, yeah, you can definitely do this just via the available Zoho Sign REST API.
Alrighty. And then our next question. After watching the Zoho Desk full product tutorial, how do you grade a ticket categories such as incident, service request, and problem? Editing the
And so
categories, Tyler?
under the settings, I think they tuck it under layouts for here. You'll be able to customize the fields for a given ticket. They think they have classifications by default as like their version of categories, but you could add a custom field if you want to rename it. And then you'll just need to add the options. If you want to add it to an existing field, there will be like a little cog setting in the field when you hover over it, and you can do it there.
Alrighty. And then we have a question after watching Zoho Recruit job board integration tutorial from 2020 from 2021. What should be done if we want to redirect the applicant to a career site of the company instead of web forms? It's just change the redirect URL, correct, Tyler?
Yep. Just grab your careers page URL out of Recruit. You could do like a CNAME if you want to make it like, careers.zenatta.com, but you don't have to. And then really it's more just on your website, right? If you, rather than redirecting to a form, just redirect to that URL and you'll be good to go.
Alrighty. And then Cameron has a very long question here. How you doing, Cameron? I have followed the steps required to complete a two-way calendar sync between the CRM and my Google Calendar, with all hopes of using calendar booking in the CRM rather than a third-party paid solution. When viewing my calendar in CRM, only some of my calendar appointments display. I use only one Google Calendar to manage my time, so I don't think this is a setting issue. There does not seem to be any rhyme or reason to the types of appointments that are showing in calendar versus what is not. Is this new sync feature fully vetted? So Cameron, I was playing around with this morning because I turned on the new sync. I've got the Google Calendar coming in as well. I'm seeing things, but what I'm noticing, and maybe you'll see this, and this has been a problem in the past, and I hoped it was being fixed with this new sync. No recurring meetings will show up. So they just, Zoho Calendar just doesn't recognize them on a sync. So they're not showing up there. I'm wondering if you look at that, if it's all your recurring meetings, but something Zoho needs to work on. They need to be able to pull in those recurring meetings, and be able, because otherwise, the whole busy time, all that kind of stuff, and that's also a big problem with Zoho bookings as well. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
At the end of the
that,
day, it's why a lot of the times we just recommend, have to pay a little more for it, but getting like a Calendly or Acuity and plugging that directly into Google Calendar, and then plugging Google Calendar into CRM so that all meetings that have a matching email address with a leader contact will flow in, but where you're
yeah,
not relying on CRM capturing like, I have a meeting every week on my calendar for CRM Zen Show in Google. That is never going to have an email address associated to a leader contact. And that's where you start to see the inconsistencies in the Google to CRM sync. It should be pretty airtight with anything that has a lead or contact email. But yeah, we do see periodic issues with things that are not lead or contact associated.
Yeah. And this is simple and it's got to be fixed. So hopefully they'll get on that. All right, then over at Club Z, we had a question. Do any of the VoIP integrations show a status in Zoho if someone is on a call and with who? That's a good question.
I think does Ring Central, I think if you use the phone bridge, it might show a status in Cliq. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows if I'm right or wrong on that, but I think it'll show if you're on a phone call inside of Cliq, but not within CRM.
Yeah,
So it might show up in odds and ends places, but not in like a really easy to view spot to know who's on the phone right now.
you have to play around with that a little bit. All right, and then Shane asks over at Club Z, I have searched YouTube, Zoho Docs, Equidocs. Is there nothing anywhere on how to use Zoho Flow to sync Zoho inventory with Equid? I am stunned, really, that with Flow as part of the Zoho One ecosystem for 2 years, why does the official Zoho Docs recommend Zapier to link other systems? Well, the reason for that is because Zoho Flow um, is pretty nascent. It's about, what, 3, 4 years old? And
Hmm.
Zapier's been around for beginning of the internet, and they've got a lot more connections and a lot more things built out that maybe Zoho hasn't thought of. And so in a lot of cases, great, it's not in Flow. Go to Zapier. Maybe that'll do it.
Yeah.
If that can't get it done, pay someone to build a custom API for you. But
Yeah, and
Zoho.
on the Equid side, like you could still use Zoho Flow if it can capture or if Equid can send a webhook, because Flow will be able to capture a webhook, but Flow just doesn't have an already built connector for Equid. And then on kind of the split side of it, like, you'll definitely want to create your sales orders in inventory as orders are coming in. But generally speaking, if I had to sync all inventory levels between two different systems, I would write like a scheduled function rather than relying on like a Zapier based sync on an item by item level. You'd probably want to consider doing that on like a routine, right? Every 3 hours it runs for every item that's received an order and sends over the new stock value just via direct API calls to Equid.
Hey, and on that last question we had about call statuses showing up inside CRM, Sen over in the chat room says Ring Central does show status in
I'm
Click.
not crazy.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And I would
yeah,
assume if Ring Central does it through the phone bridge, most of the others will probably do it as well.
yep, fantastic. Well, hey, Gage, we'll just go to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting, and we'd be happy to
Thank you.
talk to you, sir. We do a lot of companies that are in the services field, such as HVAC and those kind of things. As a matter of fact, my youngest son just got HVAC certified and is working for an HVAC company now. So,
Nice.
but we've got a lot of those
Might be
services
working for
companies.
Gage. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. So very, very cool stuff there. Well, Tyler, we did it. Another
We did
show
it.
is in the books. We brought this one in 45 minutes. I think our pre-show pruning is helping, so they're not
Yeah.
running so long.
Trimming a little
And
bit of some of these stories that people just don't need to hear us talk about.
yeah, and I'm rambling less. I'm trying to keep myself more, what's the word? More plugged or
Plug.
hinged.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'll
Pinch.
stay
No,
hinged.
I don't like either of those, honestly.
All right. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining our show. And as always, if you want to reach out to Tyler, myself, anybody on the Zenatta team, just head over to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting. We'd be happy to talk to you.
On the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would subscribe to our newsletter, where we send out all of those stories every single week, and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Fantastic. And don't forget, everybody, we launched the whole new Zenatta.com/training. The CRM course is available for you and your entire organization. So head on over there and check that out as well.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.